In terms of the business of banking, you alluded to this earlier, it's not just a case of persuading people to bank with a bank like DIB because it's the right thing to do, because it's the faith-based bank and you're a Muslim and you should be banking with a Sharia-compliant bank. You need to be offering banking solutions, whether they're for the individual or for the corporate, that are actually what they need for themselves and for their business. And you are a business, and one of your competitors many years ago told me, we're not a mosque, we're a business. And I've always held to that as far as Islamic banks are concerned. The fact that it's Sharia compliant is not the selling point. The selling point is the quality of the banking service. So how is that going to evolve over the coming years? And your main competition ultimately still has to be from conventional banks rather than Islamic banks.
Yes, absolutely. I think, Robin, you've alluded to the right point. You know, when we embarked on our growth strategy in 2014, I think one of the biggest challenges was to change the perception that people had, not just externally, but also internally. Whilst we are an Islamic bank, and we will always continue to be an Islamic bank, right? There's no compromise in that. And, you know, we wanted to make sure that we, one, open our doors for all. And it's just not by opening physical doors, but by making people understand that this is a bank that has something in it for them. So it's rather than, we started to understand what people are looking for and positioned ourselves to make sure that we are within each and every segment of the banking pyramid. So we are a very strong retail bank, we are a very strong wholesale bank, and we make sure that we understand what customers are looking at. And when we look around, when we started to grow, our biggest competition was not Islamic banks within the country or within the regions that we were operating in. They were the large conventional banks. When we started to compete with these conventional banks, everybody realized, and there was this misnomer, it was a myth that Islamic banking, one, is for Muslims alone, and second is that the Islamic banks cannot offer what a conventional bank can offer. I think that's where technology, that's where product innovation, that's where structuring came. We worked very closely with the Sharia scholars all around the world. And we said that if you want to make Islamic finance, forget Dubai Islamic Bank for a minute, but if you want to make Islamic finance the norm, you have to stop comparing it with conventional conventional banks or the conventional systems and say, oh, you know, we are a better alternative than that. That's not how you're going to capture the masses. You are going to capture the masses if you tell them that, hang on, what you get in other banks, be it conventional, you can get in an Islamic bank, and it offers the same thing at probably a better value proposition. When we changed that positioning, we started making inroads into the retail space. Consumers started understanding that Islamic banking is for all. We are not preaching here, but we are, it's a mode of operating. And at the same time, the wholesale banking customers also realize that, hey, hang on, it's not that complicated. It's not, something that we don't understand. Over time, in the last 3 or 4 years, that's how we have gained market share quarter on quarter, close to around 4 times. We are growing faster than the market when compared to conventional players and not Islamic players. So I think positioning was the key for us, and that positioning had to be done both externally and internally. And I'm glad that we did the right thing, and the results speak for themselves today.